Each year, the rolling wheels of tourists continue to grow on every highway of Arkansas. And in 1963, they brought with them an estimated $465 million that was spent in every type of Arkansas business. For food, for refreshment, for gasoline, oil, and other automotive needs. And as nighttime approaches, the traveler seeks the comfort and security of our attractive hotels or motels, where accommodations to fit any taste and budget are available. Another big source of tourist spending is the specialty shop, both souvenir and antique. And we can't overlook the attraction of our bountiful wildlife in the state, which draws many thousands of dollars from visiting hunters. For the historical buff, there are many Civil War and pioneering sites and locations, including Arkansas Post National Monument. One of the big attractions in Arkansas is the free-flowing streams. Here the Buffalo River thrills canoeists with its clear water between stretches of calm, deep holes, walled in with steep bluffs and dense forest. Actually, there are 14 Arkansas state parks, and in 1963, they attracted an estimated 5 million visitors to their many facilities. In addition, there are many national park sites, monuments, and battlefields, as well as forest recreational areas, which make camping a pleasure. Of course, one of the real pleasures of traveling is good roads all the way. The many Arkansas lakes and streams offer a choice of campsites for cookouts, fishing, and water sports. The state highways in Arkansas fall into 3 categories. First, the interstate highway system, built to freeway standards and specifications, and constructed under Arkansas State Highway Department supervision. These highways, numbered Interstate 30, 40, and 55, will total 520 miles when completed by 1972. The state primary system joins all major towns and areas with 3,400 miles of roads. And the secondary system is comprised of over 8,700 miles of roads. Interstate 30 enters Arkansas at Texarkana, with this cloverleaf connection joining the superhighway with access to Highway 71, while further to the northeast, an old lake bed is bladed off to get to a solid base for the roadbed. On the bypass around Arkadelphia, the basic work of laying drainage tile and roadbed fill goes on, with the preliminary construction work starting on the bridges over Caddo River. Approaching the interstate system from Pine Bluff toward Little Rock is work being done west of Hensley and Woodson, with this new road going toward Highway 167, and work progressing on toward the bypass south of Little Rock. A big event for the capital city during 1963 was pouring the last concrete on the Greater Little Rock Freeway through the city. While local traffic has enjoyed the Arkansas River Bridge and the Markham Street interchange for several months, it was September of last year when the formal opening was held for the entire freeway. Interstate 40 enters Arkansas from the west at Dora and continues east over Lees Creek, still farther east to cross over Highway 59, and then to an expansive interchange now being constructed north of Van Buren. Between Russellville and Clarksville, Big Piney Creek is the scene of steel setting on the dual bridge spanning the stream. The old Highway 64 bridge site will be covered by the lake formed by Dardanelle Dam and is being replaced by a new structure. The dam itself is scheduled for completion by 1966, and the resulting lake will extend 45 miles upstream. In North Little Rock, Interstate 40 spans the main road entrance to Levy and continues on to the North Terminal Interchange, moving eastward to Dark Hollow, over the railroad, and on toward Lone Oak. Crowley's Ridge is the source of fill material used on I-40 east of Forest City, with many thousand cubic yards of dirt being moved to provide the proper base for construction. Bridge construction across St. Francis River moves steadily along to become a link in our nation's interstate and defense highway system. Joining Interstate Highways 40 and 55 at West Memphis is this interchange with a sweeping curve to the north, marking the movement along I-55 to the Lake David interchange. It was here in late 1963 that Highway Commissioner Bill Joe Denton removed the covering from the sign and officially opened a stretch of 55 to its junction with U.S. Highway 61 just south of Blytheville. Construction of this highway continues on toward the Missouri line. An important and growing consideration for better roads is the present trend of new industries to locate in smaller, outlying communities. These new or expanded businesses have to rely on trucks to bring in their raw materials and also to distribute their production, often over bad or inadequate highways. A greater traffic load is placed upon our highways due to the fact that more and more railroads have abandoned service, and sometimes even an entire line, to these areas which need transportation service. The town of Gassville, Arkansas, with a population of 230 and no rail facility, has a shirt factory which employs 750 persons. A paint factory in Little Rock uses its own trucks for distribution of its products. Rubber shoe soles and tire liners are the products shipped from this plant in Batesville. A branch plant of the world's largest trailer manufacturer is located at Manila, Arkansas. Pine Bluff, the scene for colorful production line assembly at the world's largest producer of archery equipment. Our mineral deposits are big business. And here is a big limestone plant north of Batesville. While still farther up the White River, these silica quarries are dug back into the hills to supply a mill at nearby Guyan. Petroleum and natural gas products are an Arkansas resource that puts a steady supply of economical fuel and power close to every community. Primary highway activities are best shown where towns are involved. This is Highway 65 in Harrison. Nearly 5 miles of new construction costing $1,200,000. While on Highway 71 in Springdale, a $1 million program of widening and modernizing to 4 lanes enhances that city. Near Clinton, Highway 65 assumes new proportions of safety and smoothness, while still offering the motorist a panoramic view of the beautiful mountain countryside. A similar work program on secondary road systems goes on. Here, reconstruction on Highway 16 near Pettigrew proceeds on schedule. And constant tests are made by the engineering staff for strict adherence to specifications and plans. Machines make the work a lot easier, but a lot of manpower goes into making a better highway. Preparing for Beaver Lake in northwest Arkansas, a new span goes in place on Highway 12. Long outmoded, this bridge makes way for the sleek new model. The old bridge comes down. The new lake will rise to a level just 30 feet below this new structure. Snow time is a delight for children, an inspiration for poets. But to the highway department, the snow that fell in December of 1963 was a $125,000 expenditure from an already overworked budget. Crews worked night and day to eliminate the hazard from major Arkansas highways. Time out now for a little recreation as Cliff, Jerry, and Kermit head into the woods for a try at the most wary and elusive game in America, the wild turkey. With camp set up, the boys get in a little practice time. And Mr. Turkey himself puts in some practice time too. Any Indian would be envious as the boys prepare for the hunt. And when you go into the woods in April, you'd better put on plenty of repellent to keep off the mosquitoes. And away they go. Cliff says they'll do better if they split up. So Kermit heads for the river and takes off for a favorite spot downstream. Camouflage clothing is nearly a must to stay hidden from the wise old gobbler. Steady. Well, it looks like he scored. Hey, come looky here. And the lucky hunter shares the thrill and enjoyment of a successful trip. Of course, there are many more gun hunters than archers. And here's the actual scene of a turkey kill, with Mark finding out he has his hands full. Yipes! No burden was ever so sweet to carry, or a trophy so beautiful to show. This is turkey hunting in Arkansas. (1963) was a great, big, wonderful year for Arkansas when Donna Axum was crowned Miss America. And here, all of Hot Springs turned out to welcome her back. Halloween will never be the same. Central Avenue watches as the music and pretty girls go by in tribute to Miss America. The following day, Miss America's hometown of El Dorado was all aglow with the biggest day since oil was discovered. A parade to end all parades started with bands. Pam Jackson, Miss Arkansas. The delighted parents of Miss America, Mr. and Mrs. Axum. Baton twirlers. Miss Hospitality. The Rebels. Miss Oklahoma. Miss Tennessee. Miss Washington, D.C. Miss Camden. Miss El Dorado. Miss Magnolia. Miss Stevens. Miss Smackover. And here she is, a statuesque beauty, Miss America. At the grand ball, the lovely ladies and their escorts enter, and Governor Faubus escorts Donna to their place to watch the visiting Kilgore Rangerettes perform to the delight of all, including our cameraman. Arkansas will long remember her reign. Donna Axum of Arkansas, Miss America. Another big event for Arkansas in 1963 was the visit of the late President John F. Kennedy for the dedication of Greer's Ferry Dam. On October 3rd, 1963, the President arrived at the site. Representative Wilbur Mills was master of ceremonies for the event, which included a talk by Governor Faubus. the President gave an inspiring report on the progress of Arkansas and the nation.
Committing it to the service of the people of Arkansas and to the service of the people of the United States. This project, others like it, I think must be developed in this decade so that the United States will continue to be the most beautiful and best country in the world. Thank you.
A prime example of the importance of good roads to the tourist trade is Lake Ouachita, where resort and recreational development on the South Shore is prospering because it is adjacent to good highways. But the dust on these tourist cars testify that the access roads to these recreational areas still need attention. The only real solution is demonstrated by Highway 227, which goes into Lake Ouachita State Park on the east side of the lake. North of the lake, Highway 298 offers the traveler these: steep hills, low water fords, and several types of bridges. Approximately 2,300 miles of the present state highway system are yet unpaved. The citizens of Arkansas deserve better highways. And to accommodate the growing number of tourists, there is a crying need to do something about it now. On this type road, it will cost approximately $62,000 a mile, including bridges, to improve it to standards to qualify for federal aid. In addition, there is a need to replace costly ferry operations in the state with bridges, thus eliminating long waits and delays. The ferry at Sylamore, and one upstream at Calico Rock. This ferry is at Highways 62 and 101 across Lake Norfolk, and annually costs $212,000 for maintenance and operation. The ferry at Pendleton on the Arkansas River costs $60,000 annually. Another feature of good highways is adequate bridges. These bridges on Highway 53, northwest of Gurdon, need attention. And the bridge built in 1927 at Des Arcs cannot adequately serve the growing needs of the community and the surrounding area. On the increasingly important secondary road system are found these examples of outmoded structures. These are common deficiencies that occur in all parts of the state. This next sequence tells a story familiar to many rural Arkansans. Someday, this man will join with neighbors to come to Little Rock and appeal for help to the Highway Commission. In a recent 12-month period, 75 delegations comprised of over 1,200 people appeared before the commission. Obviously, there is not enough money to provide all the roads the people of Arkansas need. Here is Ward Goodman, Acting Director and Chief Engineer for the Arkansas Highway Department, with some interesting and informative statistics to emphasize this fact.
A good beginning for a discussion of highway finances is, where does the money come from? Our best estimates indicate that from Arkansas tax sources in 1964, license fees will account for $16 million. Tax on gasoline will amount to $47 million, and all other sources of revenue will return $1 million, a total of $64 million. Now, where does the money go? According to the law, the following disbursements are made first. Cost of collection is 3%, or $1,900,000. This money goes into the General Revenue Fund. Paying off bonded indebtedness requires $7,200,000 annually, and will each year until 1972. Tax repayments on fuel used for agricultural purposes amount to $1 million. Arkansas counties this year will receive disbursements of $8,400,000, while cities receive a total of $5.5 million. This means that a total of $24,800,000 of the available $64 is earmarked by law before any deposit is made to the State Highway Department fund, which this year amounts to $39,200,000. As in the operation of any big business, our funds must be carefully budgeted. Here then is the internal budget for the current fiscal year. Administration needs amount to $1,200,000. Maintenance expenditures will reach $13,800,000. Operation costs include the amounts spent on our numerous state ferries, radio systems, and the operation of our central shops. Technical and legal services, including surveys, plans, and specification development, construction engineering, totals $3,100,000. Capital outlay this year is $2,300,000 for the central offices, district and area maintenance headquarters, replacement of road equipment, machines, and for office equipment. $3 million for betterments include highway improvements that are more than normal maintenance but less than new construction. All of these budgeted items reach a grand total of $25,700,000. Now, how much is left with which to build highways? Of the original $64 million, only $13.5 million in state funds remain for highway construction. The Highway Commission and Department are seriously concerned that there is not enough money available to provide all the highway improvements that the people of Arkansas demand and should have. Several alternatives have been discussed. One, to continue at the same rate. Two, a bond issue. And three, increase the gas tax. In the belief that a properly informed public will make the right decision, we have presented this resume of 1964 highway finance to you. The answer is up to you.
In the end, the responsibility falls upon the shoulders of these men, your Arkansas Highway Commission. Wayne Hampton of Stuttgart, Chairman. Bill Joe Denton of Wilson, Vice Chairman. Armel Taylor of Clarksville. John Harsh of Magnolia. And Truman Baker of Searcy. They serve on this board without pay or personal gain to improve the road and highway system of Arkansas in an effort to serve the needs of the present and to provide lifelines to an expanding population, economy, and prosperity. Can this task be done? Again, the answer is up to you.